Brittany Howard, lead singer of the Alabama Shakes.
Or is she?
Well,
hiatus.
She's taking a break. Yeah.
After indefinite hiatus. Could it be done? Is it over?
Certainly potential. After Sound and Color dropped, I believe in 2015.
It's been a while.
And they toured quite diligently after that. Last year, Brittany Howard told her other bandmates she needed some time, needed to kind of find herself in a sense. And she's a really interesting person. Identity-wise, she comes from a mother who's white, father who's black, raised in the South. So being mixed race, also identifying as queer. She's a really fascinating person identity-wise, and then it comes to her music and her influences and what she has, where she's taken the Alabama Shakes from. You know, when they first came up on the scene with their self-titled album, I believe it was.
That was Dogs and what's it called? Oh shit! From 2012, it's like a half hour long.
Yeah,
it was like more blues rock.
Yeah,
you know, it was more like Black Keys.
Yeah, hold on, I'm pulling it up here. You know, I had the hit song "Hold On" it, which was this anthem that kind of called to the struggles of the modern person,
boys and girls,
people in current society. Yes, boys and girls, from 2012 to Sound and Color, which is this much more eclectic, funk and soul driven, acoustic / indie rock record.
It's very experimental.
Yeah, and it was just really fascinating. It's such a jump, and it really felt like Brittany was putting her staple onto the band. And then to listen to Jaime, this debut album, a year after she announced the hiatus with the band, just is really exciting because not only does Brittany Howard have the type of voice that is distinct, but also so powerful and encapsulating of who she is as a person, I feel like. But she also just has this perspective on life at this point that I feel really makes this record and what she's trying to get across really, really engaging. How did you feel listening to Jaime?
Yeah, it's funny because Sound and Color actually kind of took me back when I heard it, just because it's, as you said, really has a lot of influences from all over the place, and it's very experimental as a result. And I think it's kind of an album you kind of have to fall into and just kind of let it take you places, because it's hard to put it into any kind of box. And at times I didn't quite enjoy Brittany Howard's vocals on that album, whereas I thought on the first record, Boys and Girls, because that was, I guess, more traditional, more safe sound of a traditional Southern rock. I kind of understood that music more and thus could process it better, you know. But having a little more space now, listening to Jaime, I think it is cool because you mentioned her voice, and obviously she's kind of the whole essence of the Alabama Shakes as an act, right? Like the front woman, the creative force, the face, the sound, all that. And now we have her basically bringing all of that again. Like, this could have been an Alabama Shakes album, I suppose. It doesn't sound that different. It's a continuation of what they've been doing. But I guess the creative control that she required to make this is really the main reason why she wanted to break away. But sonically, you know, I think again, this has a lot of ups and downs, or bobs and weaves. This shit zags a lot, but because her voice is so distinct and she can do a lot with her voice, just when she's not being super showy, you know, it's not like she's a good singer, but it's not like an Ariana Grande of like 5 years ago, where she would just be like, look, listen to me sing really well with my great voice. Yeah. Yep. She never does that. And you just listen, like, I think you have like really nice headphones and listen to Jaime or Sound and Color for that regard. You just hear the intricacy of the production and the overall, I think, enterprise of the songcraft is what kind of stands out to me. I think 13th Century Metal towards the end of Jaime, I really liked, just because maybe because it didn't sound like much of the rest of the track list, but it was just kind of like a jam, you know. So it's impressive stuff. And I was just gonna ask you, is this the rock release of the year? And in terms of like expectations, things people were excited for, there hasn't been a whole lot of like marquee big name stuff. Raconteurs, Black Keys, but like, I mean, apologies to Big Thief's album next month, but like, is this like the biggest thing from a critical perspective? You know?
Um, Critically, it might be. I think in terms of release, probably be Vampire Weekend in terms of just. I think the album
Sure.
has really grown on people, and commercially, their tour is they're just huge right now.
Right, of course.
I think they'd probably be the biggest release. Also, if Tame Impala ever does get an album out, which I was highly anticipating, and it just seems like they're just not doing it. Kevin Parker's like, nah, son. But
right.
yeah, Brittany Howard, this might be. And the thing is, I feel like the energy leading up to this wasn't really what I expected. I mean, I saw a lot of places like music places talking about it, but in terms of like people talking about their excitement for this record, I feel like it kind of has just kind of stuck up, and people are like, oh, there's a Brittany Howard record.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, and I think that also speaks to. I mean, she's been in a couple other bands like Thunder Bitch and things like that, but
got a country one as well.
Yeah, but when the band that you're most known for hasn't dropped a record in 4 years, and no matter how big you are, it's going to be hard to kind of, I think, capture that spotlight when you only have 2 other drops. Sound and Color is obviously an amazing record and well received, but she just doesn't have the rep yet, I think, for people to say Brittany Howard's dropping a record. Now, we were tuned into it. Obviously, we're a little bit more tuned in than the average music fan, but I hope this is an album people find, because I think songs like Stay High, I thought Goat Head, which talked about a lot of racial. I asked a lot of racial questions and rhetorical questions around race and hatred in the country. I think those are songs that are just so different, but just mesmerizing their own way. And you mentioned 13th Century Metal, which I think is actually her best like vocal performance on it. And it's not even her singing. It's her doing a spoken word song. And I think just the way that she delivers the lines, and that song is produced, it's basically like this crazy jam session, this one take jam session where like the drums are just like driving the whole entire song. And it's really, really this amazing message about like doing your best every day to like push love forward and beat hate. It just feels like it encapsulates everything that she's trying to say. And I love this whole record. So it's definitely, I mean, this will be on my top 10 at the end of the year for sure. Starting to piece that together.
Right.
A question for you, actually, now that we're talking top 10s, what rock record do you think would be closest to your top 10?
Ooh, good one. I was just going through everything we had talked about. Better Living Community Center, Tool, Bon Iver, if you count him.
Yeah, Bon Iver.
Sharon Van Etten, a little bit. Hasn't been a whole lot we've talked about, though, because what is closest? I don't know, man. Bon Iver was my favorite Bon Iver album.
Lewis?
Jenny Lewis? No, probably not for me.
Vampire Weekend?
I like Sunflower.
You do like Sunflower.
Raconteurs, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Black Keys. Probably those 2 guys.
Yeah.
Black Midi.
Cool. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's
with a purpose.
Yeah, I think it's probably those 3.
Yeah, the State of Rock, go back to that.
Not
YouTube
the National,
video.
That's for sure.
Yeah, the National aren't really your bag, I feel.
Certainly not.
But yeah, rock right now just continues to move into a state of further and further obscurity. Even thinking about the releases of the last couple of years, like the Arctic Monkeys release was a bit disappointing.
Foo Fighters, same thing.
Yeah, so just not a lot out there right now, rock wise, at least from like the legacy bands that are really capturing people. Maybe we should give that Springsteen country album a listen.
I mean, February 21st, we get another album from the 1975, a group that is well known for making traditional rock music. So, fear not.
On your best song list last year, right?
Love it if we made it. Did it make it?
I think so.
It did. I think it made it.
I think it made it. And I'd love it if we made it to the next segment